PW Hustle Networks present PWR at the Movies. Join the Professor, Tommy Wonder, and JB as they discuss the greatest pro wrestling moments in movie history.
Excuse me, sir. I was wondering if I could get a picture with you. It would mean a lot to my brain-dead father.
Sure, kid. I do a lot of work on behalf of the stupid.
I know I'm standing, yet I feel like I'm in a warm bath.
Listen, but try and get closer to King Kong so I can get you both in the picture. Okay?
Okay. Where did he go? Uh-oh.
Okay. Smile! Oh, come on, my little bumblebee. Show me some teeth. Good.
Dad? Oh, good. You're out of the coma.
Where am I? Is she gone? Is it over?
Yes, Dad. Now, save your strength. The important thing is, I got my picture with King Kong Bundy. So now I'm in no, ma'am, right?
No, son. We don't watch wrestling anymore. See, we learned tonight that wrestling on TV leads to wrestling at home. And that ultimately leads to sex with the wife. So now no, ma'am stands for numb old men anxiously awaiting morticians.
So all this was a waste of time?
Well, for you, maybe. This is the best meal I've had at home in years. This is a T-bone mashed potato drip going this time, baby. That's eating. Hey, son. Are you going to finish yours?
STDs will go down. Everybody's happy, right? Again, neither here nor there. I am the charismatic one. I am the affluent one. I am the oh so glorious one. The only objective man in this IWC, YWC, probationary PWC punditry. The only objective man that ain't gonna vote for nobody in November. The only objective man in this political hemisphere, the Professor Chabilla Cruz. And I'm not here alone. No. Quiet is kept. But during the recording of this episode, my brother from another mother just came back from Cleveland, Ohio. He was one of the 50,000 strong who put his finger in the air to acknowledge the original tribal chief, Roman Reigns, when he wrecked shop and left the ring. And TW was saying, come on me, Roman, one more time. He is your friend of mine, the Detroit Rock City Universal Heavyweight Champion of the World, the Iron Stomach one, Mr. Wonderful, Dum Duty in its own. Tommy Wonder, how you doing, my friend?
Very tired, got no voice. 2 weeks ago, I saw 2 concerts in a row, then saw another one Thursday night before going to SmackDown on Friday, SummerSlam on Saturday, and then my juju worked when I wore a Cleveland Indians jersey to the Cleveland game, and they lost to the Baltimore Orioles. Just like Big Ray, when I come to New York City and go to the Yankees game, and they lose to the Pittsburgh Pirates. If I got to buy a Yankee shirt to make it happen, I will. And it happened.
Well, you gonna buy an Aaron Judge number 99?
I had no fucking jersey. I got that jersey, the Cleveland Indians jersey, for free the day David Justice got traded there. That's the only reason I own it. I was a Braves fan, like any other NWA wrestling fan, who turned on wrestling on Saturday night only to find out the Braves was on.
You're supposed to be a Detroit Tigers fan wearing Kirk Gibson.
Yeah, but then I look like an asshole at a Yankees Orioles or Yankees Pirates game wearing a Tigers jersey. That's just weird.
Well, But
I also know better than to wear a Boston Red Sox jersey there, because I like to make it home.
That is true, but we're not watching the Yankees against Red Sox. We're watching the Yankees against Pirates, but neither here nor there. But TW, as you're holding a Braun Breaker Intercontinental Championship action figure, just give a quick 3-minute synopsis. And you're holding up the Gunther Heavyweight Champion of the World action figure. A quick 3-minute synopsis of your SummerSlam experience, because people were 50,000 strong were there. Were they loud? Were they boisterous?
57,000.
Well, Dave Meltzer will talk about the turnstile count. I'm being fair. It goes both ways. All In doesn't have the 80,000. I'm not going to say that WWE did not have 57, probably 50,000. But what say you, man? How was that experience? Did you have fun? Was the lines long? What was going on?
What, man? I really didn't know the card until a couple days leading up to it. A couple of matches when I heard, I was like, yeah, I remember that, because they were basically booked Cody. They booked Gunther versus Damian months ago, whenever he won that King of the Ring thing. Same thing with Nia Jax. I knew LA Knight was fighting Logan. And Travis asked me, he said, man, are you aware that you probably were at the greatest SummerSlam of all time? And I will tell you that I think I left there thinking there was not one match that was a dud. The only one that might have been in the running was Bayley versus Nia, because I went to get a beer and my buddy needed a bank to charge his phone. And it was like, it reminded me of Ronda versus Shayna last year, where you didn't even know there was a match going on because it was so quiet. But when I got back to my seat, that's right when Bayley powerbombed her. And from that point on, the crowd was into it. And they might have been into it before that. I just didn't hear it. But I watched it back on Peacock. And first of all, wrestling hits way different when there's commentary, right? Rhea and Liv, they had a phenomenal match. And to watch it with commentary, where they're explaining the show, they're foreshadowing what Dominic's going to do eventually, right? And they make Rhea out to be this big baby face, and she's smiling more rather than grimacing, right? Like it was, and Liv looks like a psychopath now, whereas that's what Rhea used to look like. And it's just really, really well done. But the two that blew me away live but then also watching it back on Peacock even more so, hands down to me, the match tonight was LA Knight and Logan Paul. When Logan Paul did the springboard moonsault to the floor to LA Knight, it was right in front of me, but I was, you know, in
you had a great view.
Not on the, and so when he did it, I don't know if I just assumed it or thought I saw it. I thought he jumped up and sat and did the moonsault. When I watched that shit back and saw he jumped up and landed on his fucking feet and did arguably the greatest arc on a moonsault I've ever seen in my life, and landed right where he needed to land, and him and LA Knight didn't get murdered when they did land, I was blown away. And then LA Knight, you know, what's he, 43? And that dude standing on the second rope and then jumps up to the top and does them elbow like Macho Man so fluidly that I was like, both of those guys, if either one of them don't hit those moves, their match is shit. It's over. It's an AEW botch fest, right? It's people would just, meaning the AEW fans were like, they fucked up. They fucked up. They fucked up.
The superplex was a little bit of a botch because of the way Logan landed. But again, that's just semantics and logistics.
But the botch would have been when LA, because I've seen LA do it on SmackDown recently, where he does that run and jump up there and doesn't stand. He falls off.
Yeah, but the superplex,
they hit it. And who cares how they landed? They pulled the move off, is my point.
No, that's true. I'm just saying. But again,
Damian Priest and Gunther, I think, was better than people are saying because it was methodical. And so was Cody and Solo. My only complaint about Cody and Solo is I fucking hate it. I've said it on the show before. I will say it a million more times. And it's weird because they do, but they don't. I hate when they play the guy's music when he's running in to do a save. It's like, why wouldn't the people just leave right when the music hit? They just stand there and wait for it. And then they come one at a time. Then they took too long for Roman to come out. It makes Jey Uso look bad because he didn't come out to offset.
Well, they're saving that. It's more arcing storytelling. There's more to that. But again,
it was 3 and 3. 3 guys came out. 3 guys came out. They just stalled Roman doing it. It looked like Fatu broke his fucking femur in half.
It's a work. Don't worry about that.
It is a work?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I felt bad for him. Guy wins a tag belt by absolutely murdering.
The Reflectionites, even Fatu made a believer out of TW, and that says something. And he's the wrestler here. I knew it was a work. It took me about a couple hours.
To me, like he was grimacing and went go go go. Like I can't. That's what it looked like. I thought I saw the signal.
But it made sense for him to do that because they did not want Roman and Jacob to like clash or look eye to eye.
Right.
So it wouldn't have looked right.
And I bet you if I hear the commentator, because I'm going to finish watching it, I just didn't have time to watch it all yesterday. But yeah, all in all, dude, the whole weekend, man, I met so many cool people. I met people at the hotel. Scott Woodward. He's talking to me in the entrance of the hotel. I had no idea it was him because every time I see him, it's fucking Joe Hendry on his profile picture. So he's asking me questions, and I'm like, "Hey, man, that's a nice hat. That's just, I'm just saying hi to him." And then my buddy's like, "Who's that?" I go, "I have absolutely no idea." I go, "But he's a nice guy," so I said hi to him. And then I get on Facebook and see I saw Tom Bryan. I'm like, "Whoa!" And then I had a bunch of my friends from Ohio from the Lima days that don't live in Lima anymore. One lives in San Diego, I think. Jim Riot Hyatt. He's one of the couple guys that I know that are program directors. And JB, they were there. And I'm like, man, we should have at least told each other we were going and met up or something. And then my buddy Dave Johnson, I've gotten him booked in Michigan and he no-showed. This guy 2 nights in a row was meeting me out afterwards. And both nights I haven't heard back from him. He told me Saturday he fell asleep. And then Sunday, I haven't heard from him. I ended up just going out with my one buddy and I had nothing but a good time. I wouldn't change a thing. It was such an awesome, me and the girlfriend broke up recently. So I went there single, wasn't even on the prowl, brother. I just went there to have fun. And I did and you meet so many nice people. You see people in like other sports teams' jerseys. So you start talking about these guys from Buffalo. They were awesome. Some other guys were from, my buddy wore a Michigan jersey and people were either telling him to piss off or great jersey. People would love me wearing this Cleveland Indians jersey because they're all wearing.
You're such a homer. You're such a homer. But anyway, that's
no, because everyone's wearing Guardians crap. They acknowledge when people are like, screw that. I'm wide awake. I ain't woke.
Well, woke has many different meanings, but again,
I got to be there to witness LA Knight finally win the U.S. title, to win a title.
And that was worth the, what, $500 you paid for the ticket, right?
People next to me bought their tickets for $50 that day.
Smart people.
No, they had tickets in the nosebleeds, and they just checked, and they saw they were there, and they bought them. Good for them.
Cool.
I thought we were nosebleeds, and ended up in really pretty good, awesome seats. We were a lot closer for SmackDown just by size of the building, but SmackDown was pretty cool too, man.
Very, very, very good. So with
That's
that
probably my first time seeing CM Punk in a wrestling match in live.
And you liked him. Now you changed. Now you changed your whole perception.
Dude, he won me over when he saw the light and like, dude, look what's happening right now. Like, you know what? I got to get this off my chest.
Oh God, we're trying to do a show here.
This girl,
too present.
I ain't saying she's likable. I ain't saying she's nice. I am saying she's entitled to her opinion.
Reflectionites for the audio.
She's entitled to her opinion. And in a day and age when it is frowned upon for men to mansplain and flex and intimidate women, even though these same people that say that don't even know the difference between a man and a woman, for her to say what she said, and for Will Ospreay and or MGF to run up on her, roll up on her like that is absolute bitch and cowardice. And what I'll say is, she can talk all the shit she wants. It's a free country. She didn't talk it to them. She said it in the privacy of whoever was there with her watching the monitor.
In the women's locker room. That's what it was.
The person who is at fault for all of this is Alicia Atout. Is that her name? Because if she's so worried about her boyfriend being shit on, instead of texting him, why don't you stand up for him to the girl who's sitting right in front of you doing it? She's a coward. She's basically a ring rat.
She can't wrestle.
Right. She's a ring rat who weaseled herself into the business interviewing people in the Indies and BCW and Impact, and then moseyed her way into a job at AEW. She's the problem. And for Britt Baker to get suspended for having an opinion, and the two dudes that rolled up on her and one of them hit a fucking wall like we're living in the caveman days, those dudes not getting in trouble is absolute bullshit. I don't think anyone should have been in trouble. But if you're going to suspend the girl who all she did was voice her opinion, whether you like it or not, she's entitled to it. To me, it's one more notch on the headboard for people like CM Punk, and probably Cody says it, but he's more diplomatic about it, that it's a fucking zoo to work for. It's insane to me that she's the only person that got in trouble. That she got in trouble at all. People talk shit. Who talks more shit about other wrestlers than MJF?
Again, this is the present, TW. We're supposed to do about the past. But anyway, what I love about TW. Well, I said we were going to do that. But then when you go on your tirades, you know what, Reflections, this is what TW does. Last week he hated the Last Supper and all that stuff. Now this week he hates, mansplaining to Britt Baker. But again, this is what I love about TW.
I didn't hate the Last Supper. I hate the people who complain about everything.
No, you don't have to relive it. I'm not talking about relive.
I didn't care less what they did about the Last Supper. That's their issue when the Judgment Day comes. It ain't mine. Good for them.
Okay, can we go on with the show? Do the people want the show? Yes, the people want the show. And yes, you're happy about LA Knight. God damn it, TW, you're just happy about him. But anyway, let's get into this PWR at the Movies special, because we haven't done one, TW, in a long time. And I picked not an easy one, but it is a nostalgic one for a reason, because this show is so iconic for many reasons. One of the main reasons right now is that in 2020 Quattro Reflectionites, you really can't do what they did for 11 years, Reflectionites. You can't say the things they said. You can't even have the subject matter that they had. You have to almost toe the lines to make every group today happy. And this show would be, well, I wouldn't say it would be canceled, but cancel culture would try to get this show off the air. There would be protests from certain groups. There would be non-binaries, pronoun terrorists. Everybody would terrorize this show if it happened in 2020 Quattro. And that show is Married with Children, Reflectionites. And TW, before we even get into the episode, the beauty of Married with Children was the quite opposite of the Cosby Show. I mean, quite opposite of the, the families that were in middle class America, where the father came home to dinner, the housewife made the food. You had the son and the daughter eating at the dinner table. Everybody was happy, like Lieber the Beaver style and all that stuff. But this was totally opposite from that. It was about a man who hated his job as a shoe salesman, having to grab fat women's feet for 8 hours a day. And that was Al Bundy. He married a slut from high school who took him, who was a gold digger, but there was not enough gold in Al Bundy's jock straps to get the money that she needed to live her extravagant life. Peggy Bundy. Then you got the sex crazed son, Bud Bundy. Then you got the high school slut, Kelly Bundy. And of course, you got the dog, Buck Bundy. So TW, let's talk about Married with Children. I mean, I watched it from 1987 to 1997 and all that stuff. I saw the maturation of the kids growing up. And I was like, you know what? It's kind of funny because it was like, when the kids grow up, then the show is over. But for Married with Children, when the kids grew up, they got into their own shit and was like almost a spinoff of Married with Children because, Al and Peg could do so much. But once Bud and Kelly got older, then they could do the adult-oriented theme stuffs. So what say you about your humble memories of Married with Children?
Oh, bro, dude, this if it wasn't one of the first shows on Fox when Fox first debuted, this was the second show. Tracy Ullman was the first hit show of Fox. Well, I mean, when they launched, because Tracy Ullman, actually, she launched The Simpsons too. But what I mean is, like, remember Fox would only be Fox at 8:00 at night on Sunday, and then it was Sunday and Wednesday, and then it was Sunday and Wednesday and Friday, and finally it just became a full-time station. But it was like Channel 50 was like a syndicated show, and then they bought Channel 2 and bumped CBS to another network in Detroit. But it was one of their first shows, is what I'm saying. And so when I go back, I am Team Fox for life. And as a matter of fact, they make a reference in this episode about that show that the women wanted to watch. CBS, of course. When I was a kid, CBS was the old people's network. It was everything on there was for old people. Fox was for young people. You had Martin, you had Living Single, you had Parker Lewis Can't Lose, 21 Jump Street, Married with Children. Who?
90210.
Yeah, that was later. That was way later, but that's 91 or 2. But this was one of my favorite shows immediately. And at 13, 14 years old, I probably shouldn't even have been watching it. But it is the closest and the last thing we'll ever see to a modern day Archie Bunker show. It was a good 10 years or so after Archie Bunker started, or at least. And there's even jokes.
Actually, Archie Bunker, if in terms of the 80s, his last show was like 83.
Right, but it started in the 70s, I'm saying. It started in the 70s. This started about 10, 15 years after it did. Yeah. But, and even the Jeffersons was similar to Archie Bunker, but it was the opposite side of the race coin, right? It was George being it. And, but there wasn't real racism on this. This one, I think they made a conscious effort because he had a black friend. He always had a black friend. He was a different guy, and they had him in there. But it was fun. And now that we're older, and I was married for 16 years, it's real life, dude. You come home not wanting to come home. And he's a little harsh on his daughter and his son, but I think deep down he loved Peg Bundy, and deep down she loved him. So I think you got that message from the show, even though it looked like they were going to be an episode.
The message was they hated each other, but then if you talk bad about my husband or you talk bad about my wife, they had each other's back. It's the same thing with the kids with that. And the one thing, Reflectionites, about Married with Children that maybe some people didn't know is the connection to professional wrestling. Since we are TW doing an episode that is guest starring King Kong Bundy, and we'll get into that episode in a couple of seconds, Reflectionites. The creators of Married with Children, I believe I know it's Levette and Moyette or something like that. They're the creators, but both of those guys' favorite wrestler was King Kong Bundy. So the name Al Bundy, people thought. was inspired by King Kong Bundy. It was not inspired by Ted Bundy. A lot of people thought that Al Bundy's last name was inspired by, the criminal Ted Bundy, TWs. But in actuality, the creators of Married with Children were big pro wrestling fans. And of course, for some strange reason, no, not some strange reason, their favorite wrestler was King Kong Bundy because of the aura and the presence. So TW, what say you? Because not explaining why they love King Kong Bundy, but you know what I'm trying to get here. I mean, for the casual fan who does not know about King Kong Bundy's, ring career, explain to them why these two creators, these two writers would be inspired by King Kong Bundy with his in-ring presence and his career to a degree. Let's say you.
I wonder if maybe they met him, because everybody I've ever met that met King Kong Bundy said he was just an absolute sweetheart of a human being. Like, I remember when he died, there was a lot of people talking about how nice he was on Twitter and everything. But I didn't know that about the name, but there's a nice little joke in there about it during the show about the name. But I think it's awesome that he got the shine. And what I would think is by 87, they've probably been producing this 86, which is when Bundy was killing Hogan at WrestleMania 2 and crushing his ribs and getting the 5 count. That, to me, is why Bundy always stood out. To this day, there's two things I personally reference King Kong Bundy that I don't even realize it until you just said everything you said. I always say I see like someone big, and I go, if they hit the leg drop, they're getting a 5 count every time. And then if I did something wrestling with like a kid or something, I pin them and I go 5. Those two things. But those are two references that are clearly me referring to King Kong Bundy for myself, because I don't expect anybody else to know what that means. But yet when they do, sometimes it's pretty awesome. But he was kind of quiet on wrestling. Like, Heenan did most of his talking, but he did talk every now and again. He was in Stir Crazy, or Brubaker. Maybe his name was Brubaker in.
No, the Richard Pryor movie you're referring to is Moving. He was in that movie.
Moving, yeah.
He was not.
But I thought he was a prisoner too. He was a prisoner in Stir Crazy.
Different bald-headed guy.
All right. Well, either way, he was in the movie. Like, he tried branching out. So I would wonder if maybe they met him. Maybe those guys were somehow tied to Moving, and they met him and just thought he was a sweetheart and said, that's our favorite wrestler. Because for me, and unfortunately, he fucking literally died a week later. You see somebody every week, and you just see them, and you see their passion, and you see their, love for what they're doing. And it was the Monday Night Raw before. I looked at the TV, and I looked at my ex-wife, and I went, you know what? I think Owen's my new favorite wrestler. Like, he's just contagious. When he comes out, he makes you happy. And he fucking died a week. Literally, the next Raw was the 10-bell salute for him, and me sitting in front of my TV sobbing. There's something to say about nice people, especially in that business, because there's a lot of people that aren't nice. Like Will Ospreay.
Well, again, that's an opinion right there by TW, so you could slide it to his DMs. No diddy on that. But you know what? For me, with the King Kong Bundy connection, Reflectionites, again, just like TW said, the aura and the presence of a man who's 468 pounds and semi-agile. He was
the motherfucker ran the ropes, dude.
No, he's quick.
Earthquake.
No, when he ran and did the avalanche on the ring post, and then he did the hurricane splash, if you want to call it, and the 5 count. Yes, that separated him from every big man who was over 400 pounds, number one. Number two, in terms of Married with Children, TW, not only was it their favorite wrestler, and like you said, he might be a sweetheart, and they wanted him to be on the show.
Right.
And this is not his first appearance on Married with Children. This is actually his second appearance that we're going to talk about. His first appearance came in 1987, 1988, where King Kong Bundy, and we're not going to talk about that episode of Reflectionites, but I just want to give hyperbole and logistics for TW. But in 1987 and 1988, he played a distant cousin of Peggy Bundy. He was part of the Wanker clan from Wanker County. And it just fit so well. And it showed the range of King Kong Bundy because, again, in WWE TW, he is this monster. And again, he's like, 5. And he scares you. He scares the kids. But when he was on Married with Children in 1988 TW, was a sweetheart. He was funny. And at the end, he was singing with his other cousin because they were supposed to record one of those John Wayne movies for Al Bundy, but yet they took the tape and they recorded a sing along with each other. I think it was a "You Are So Beautiful to Me." You are. It's King Kong Bundy singing that song, and when you look at that, and you look at his girth, Reflectionites, no Diddy, but when you look at his girth, it's just infectious, like TW said. It's just contagious. What say you, TW? I know you didn't watch the episode.
I've seen that.
Oh, you've seen that episode. But what say you about the range of King Kong Bundy? Again, from being the monster in the ring for WWE, like you said, splashing Hogan and destroying the midgets and all that stuff, to being on Married with Children as a wanker cousin with timing and comedic undertones, if you will.
The best people for comedy are the people that are willing to put themselves out there and be the joke. And him singing, him doing all that stuff, but on top of it, he was good at it. So it was like you weren't laughing at him, you were laughing with him. And and again, he's endearing. And at the end of the day, he's bald when people weren't bald. Like Stone Cold made this shit possible, right? Right. Bundy was just bald, and he had long hair when he was in the Legion of Doom, by the way. The footnote for people that didn't know that.
Well, somebody told him to get a baldy, and that was the best decision he ever made.
Right, and his wrestling figure, that LJN Bundy, is it's basically SquarePants, or not SquarePants, but Patrick Starfish. But it's massive compared to all the other ones. It weighs a lot, everything. He was larger than life in a business that was larger than life. That he was even like, he'd give Andre the Giant a run for his money for being the attraction, right? And one thing about that splash in the corner, the avalanche, like you talked about, there were times he did that and the fucking ring moved. Like the ring shifted a foot or whatever it was, a couple inches. Right. And but yeah, I knew he was on another episode, but I forgot. And then this episode that we watched, I saw it for the first time, and then I tried to find the episode with Queen Kong on there, and I wonder if it was the same episode that she was also a Bundy, like Peg's mom. No, Peg's mom was always not in the room. You just heard her voice.
The Glow episode was in '89.
Oh, it was Glow. Okay.
Yeah.
But I want to say Peg Bundy's mom, you never saw her. You heard her voice from another room or whatever it was. But yeah, it was. He's. I'm glad we're doing this for the reason we're doing it, that King Kong Bundy was on there, because you already taught me shit I didn't know.
Well, you know what? I've always hit, when I try to hit a home run for the PWR at the movies, I don't hit home runs. I hit bunts. I strike out, especially with Wrestlers versus Zombies. But, I pick the most eclectic movies or episodes that I can find. But with King Kong Bundy and Married with Children, it's a match made in heaven, Reflectionites. So you can't go wrong. We both enjoyed the episode, and you should see this episode. So with that being said, again, it's a 30-minute episode, so we're not going to be here boring you for 2 hours. There's nothing really to analyze and all that stuff. But this episode, TW, was very, as far as fluidity, it was very touch and go with it, because what was the beginning? Al Bundy and his No Man members. You remember what No Man stood for?
I forget, but they redo it at the end, and it was hilarious, but I can't remember what.
Oh, I remember it. Again, this is why it's iconic. The National Organization of Men Against Amazonian Masterhood. Oh, you see. Oh, I already knew what that shit meant, because I remember seeing that on the Jerry Springer episode. But anyway, the No Man members are going to Al Bundy's house because it's WrestlePalooza night. It's Saturday night, and they must watch their favorite wrestler. No Man already said this is their favorite wrestler. This is their number one wrestler.
No. The beginning was a different night. It was Friday night.
Well, whatever the night it is.
They were supposed to be at bingo.
No, the wives were supposed to be at bingo, but it was supposed to be wrestling night at Al Bundy's house, because they wanted to watch King Kong Bundy, and they were their night was interrupted by their wives, because of course, TW, they wanted to watch that movie, that movie that 80-year-olds love on CBS for some strange reason. Old Man and Older Woman. I even remember the title. This is how easy it is, because I didn't have to watch the episode Reflectionites. I just know episodes off the top of my head. Before my Alzheimer's kicks in, my dementia kicks in, I do remember episodes of Married with Children. But TW, it's just great that you have Al Bundy. The funny thing about Al Bundy as the years go by with Married with Children, like in the first, let's say 3 seasons of Married with Children, you did not see a lot of his quote unquote male friends.
Right.
Of course, you know, again, he works in the shopping mall and all that stuff. You know that those are the first friends you'll have, that your first connecting friends are work friends. But they just kept it very basic. You know, his next door neighbor was the male friend of choice, whether it was Steve or, you know, and all that stuff. But now
Darcy.
And of course Jefferson Darcy is his best friend right now. But as the seasons grew, at least he had a circle. He had an inner circle, and No Man was the perfect foil for Al
Bundy Appreciation Society.
Well, No Man wasn't.
He was the leader. He was the leader for sure.
No, he was the leader, but it wasn't meant for him to lead No Man.
I know.
But he was the voice of the men. He was the voice of the voices. He was CM Punk before CM Punk was cool, TW. So what say you about Al Bundy, you know, and all this stuff? What's your fondest memories of Al Bundy like this?
Oh man, dude. Like, so I watched another episode, so I'll toss this in there because I was looking for Queen Kong, but I found Farmer's Daughter, and it was the one where him and Kelly played being sick. So they didn't have to go with Peg and Bud on the fucking trip to the grandparents' house. And Bud's like,
the Wanker Olympics. Yeah, I remember that.
I'm gonna get you guys back. And then he kept having dreams that Pam Anderson was in his room and the Farmer's Daughter. And then he watched Psycho Dad, where the dad told the kid, you can keep the pig. And as soon as the kid walked away, he shot the pig and said, that boy is stupid. And then the next thing you know, he's coming out of his bathroom like he just took a major shit. And he looks at the pillow where Peg would be, and he cocks the rifle and goes bang, bang, bang. He's like, sorry, Peg, I got to leave you there as a reminder to all the other women that don't cook for me. And it's just shit like that was like I said earlier, he always at the end, you could tell he loved Peg. They had, maybe not every episode, but every season, they had some tender moment at some point. But the whole thing was, my favorite line ever is when she goes, hi, honey, did you miss me? And he said, with every bullet so far. I have remembered that my entire life since the first time I heard him say that, and have said it to my ex-wife and to ex-girlfriends. And it's probably why there's an X in front of them all. But he just was hilarious, man. And then to watch him on Modern Family, he's like the grandpa version of Al Bundy on Modern Family. He's just, except for he loves his wife because she's young. You know, like he cashed in Peg for her.
He got a second chance at love. That's what it is. Right. It just worked this time. So with that being said, Reflectionites, he was thwarted by his wives because he couldn't watch wrestling in the living room, the big TV. So what did they do, TW? They got to go down to Bud's room, down in the basement. But the door was locked, Reflectionites, because Bud Bundy was, quote unquote, getting some from Nasty Natalie. See, you can't even do this anymore because you can't even say women are nasty Nat. You know, you can't name the woman Nasty Natalie, the easiest girl in Chicago and all that stuff. The funny thing is, No Man did not believe that Bud Bundy was getting
Half of them did.
Well, they took a bet, and Al Bundy and his father, of all people, lost the bet because he said, there ain't no way my son is getting some right now. So with that being said, I'm going to try to, abbreviate this as best as I can. They knocked the door down. Nasty Natalie has got to shoot upstairs, and Bud Bundy is left with blue balls. It is what it is. But now they can watch WrestlePalooza and watch their favorite wrestler, King Kong Bundy, in action.
It's not WrestlePalooza. It's like it's the go home team.
It is WrestlePalooza. If you look at the background, everything is WrestlePalooza no matter what.
He's promoting the match against the Dr. Proctologist at WrestlePalooza on Saturday.
Captain Ecology. Get it right, man. It's in the run sheets. You know that. It's always in the run sheet.
The show Friday night was them promoting the show in Chicago on Sunday or Saturday at the Dick Buckus Dome.
No, the Dickadome. It was the Mike Dickadome.
Dickadome, whatever the fuck. It was a dick. I knew you wouldn't get your dicks mixed up.
Shut up, T-Dog. I get this right because I know what's going on with Married with Children. But Al Bundy and No Man members have an epiphany. They want King Kong Bundy to be an honorary member of No Man. They are intoxicated with King Kong Bundy's presence, his aura, and all that stuff because he's got what, TW? The it factor. And Bud Bundy
play called Anytime.
Oh yeah, he has a valet call anytime. Yes, that is true. Why didn't he have a valet in WWE? It just didn't work out. I don't know where it was any
that fucking Married with Children episode. We got to have some TNA in there.
Right. But, you know, while the No Man members are agreeing with Al Bundy that he should be an honorary member of No Man, somebody's a little bit pissed off, and that is Bud Bundy. He says, I've been trying to get into No Man for years, and you won't even let me in. But he's been the pledge for years. He's been the bottle opener for years. That's why his teeth are a little bit crooked, because everybody keeps opening their beers with his teeth. But neither here nor there. So Al Bundy says, you want to get into No Man, Reflectionites? Well, this is what you got to do. You got to get a picture with yourself and King Kong Bundy together, and you will be a charter member of No Man. TW, when I look at this episode for 1995 purposes, right? You know how easy it would have been if this was a 2020 Quattro show with a cellular phone and your TikTok and your Instagram? You could do a picture so quickly and just snap it. You know, you got to get the Kodak out of the drawer. You got to get, you got to get film and all this stuff. You got to
cartridge.
Load the cartridge. You got to prepare. You got to act. It's almost like going in. It's like Navy SEALs going into war. You got to have a battle plan, TW. I felt sorry for Bud Bundy because, again, because I feel like I'm a little bit spoiled, because it's like you had to go through all that to get a picture with your favorite star. You know, these kids today do not appreciate what they got. Their phone right now, some of these celebrities might say, no, I don't want to take a picture. But you know what? Some people, if you're very good at it, you're like this. He or she might not be near you, or they can grab, or you could grab them, but you'd be like, I took a pic with them and all that stuff. With a Kodak, you couldn't do that. You had to ask for permission. You had to be, TW, you would
have someone else take it.
That too. It was a two-man operation. It's a TW. With your wrestling experience in the mid-90s as Los Rudos, talk about the differences, because again, you went to SummerSlam if you wanted to with your camera phone. You could have took a picture with LA Knight. You could have took a picture with Seth Rollins so easy. You could have had like 5 pictures with 5 different WWE superstars. But in 1995, you had like 2 people asking you, hey, Mr. Cortez, can I take a picture with you? It's night and day, TW. What say you about the experiences? The children are spoiled today, right? You agree with me, right?
Spoiled is not the word. Entitled.
Oh,
they think the people owe them a picture with them. I bought your CD. I stole your CD off Napster. But yeah, it's such a, like, it's the beauty and the curse, right? Like, I think you and I appreciate technology more than these kids do, because we know what it was like beforehand. However, I miss the innocence of how it was beforehand. And I'm proud to say, I only did it one time, but whenever I wrestled and there would be like a star in town at intermission, they would get in the ring and sell Polaroid pictures. People would line up around the ring, get in the ring, take a picture of Tommy Dreamer, take a picture with Al Snow, take a picture with Taz. Not all of them, because some of them didn't want to do it. D'Lo, me and Jeff Kavanaugh, we went and got him Kodak film so he could do it at a BCW show. I got to do that once, and I thought they were ribbing me. I'm like, nobody wants my fucking picture, but we got in the ring as Los Rudos. Fucking everyone lined around the ring, got in the ring, and just one by one took Polaroid pictures with everybody. And people would ask me all the time if they saw me after I was wrestling or before I wrestled, take a picture. I never, ever once CM Punk turned down a photo. And the 3 or 4 times, I think there's a 4th time. I think one just recently happened, damn it. I forget it. 3 times while I was wrestling, I got recognized while I wasn't wrestling. That's when you know you did some good, right? Everybody's seen you wrestle 5 minutes ago, so they ask you for an autograph, who cares? But when they see you out and about and go, hey, man, you're Calavera Cortez, it's a different feeling. Will it get old if you're CM Punk? Probably. Possibly. If you're in a cranky mood or whatever. However, as someone who's been on the other side of that camera, I know that the frequency in which you get a chance to take a picture with somebody is very, very minuscule. And how you could ever be mad at someone asking to take a picture with you is beyond me. But the funny thing is, he dressed up in a costume to act like he's a wrestler to get backstage. So there's another little sly dog move just to get in there to get that picture.
Again, you had to be connected. Well, creative. Yeah, I was gonna say conniving, like more evil, but you had to be creative. Reflectionites. So Bud Bundy and Kelly Bundy, pretended to be wrestlers and valets. What was Kelly Bundy's valet name? You remember?
Honey.
There you go.
Honey.
Because Bud Bundy, the only costume that he could afford at night, or something.
No, it's the only one I could find.
Well, only that Kelly Bundy could find. It was a rib on Bud, but she could only find one costume, and that was the Bumblebee costume. And that's why this episode is called Flight of the Bumblebee. So he's getting laughed at on the bus going to the Dickadome, TW, and he's getting laughed at by the ring rats that are. Did you realize the backstage was just nothing but ring rats and one security dude?
Yep.
And
who was the security dude?
Michael Clark Duncan.
No shit.
The big man right there. So, Bud Bundy is like, he got it for free. Nothing happened. I mean, nobody like said nobody questioned his wrestling acumen. He just said to Michael Clark Duncan, I'm a backup wrestler. It was the easiest. Is it that easy, TW, in the 90s? All I had to do is get a Bumblebee costume, just go back to Madison Square Garden and say, I'm the backup wrestler just in case.
In the 90s, people did that and got booked without ever being trained. So
really?
Fuck it, dude. It got so bad by the 2000s that people were just like, what the fuck, man? Some of the worst guys you wrestled with opened up schools, and then they would be churning out guys that were even worse than them. It was insane.
Jesus Christ. So within this episode, Reflectionites, he got into the Dickadome. He got through security with Michael Clark Duncan, and King Kong Bundy was pissed. You all right, Stevie Wonder?
Yeah, it's cracking my neck.
Oh, okay. And King Kong Bundy was pissed. Why, Reflectionites? Because Captain Ecology could not make it for their main event match at the Dickadome because it was cloudy and it was raining and the solar car wasn't gonna start.
That was a funny reference for fucking 95.
Yeah. Well, King Kong Bundy doesn't believe in climate change. He believes that you make the dates. Captain Ecology should have took the bus. Should have took the gas guzzler and made his commitments. Captain Ecology probably would have been banned from other places. King Kong Bundy sets the tone, right, TW?
Yeah, he would have Will Ospreay run up on him and going, "Hey, man, why are you causing problems?"
Oh, Jesus. What's with you, man?
I can't even believe that story, man. I can't even.
What up, man?
Plus, my man Adam Cole somewhere with a broken heart in Pennsylvania. It's bullshit.
So, with King Kong Bundy being pissed, the comedic timing of Bud Bundy was really funny. It was precious because he looked at him like a scared little boy. Bud Bundy is supposed to be 18, 19 in college and all that stuff. But the way he looked at Bundy, like Bundy was going to squash him like a bug, literally, because he was the Bumblebee. But he looked like he was 5 years old looking to get permission. And he's like, "Excuse me, Mr. Bundy, could it be okay that I take a picture with you?" And then, of course, King Kong Bundy's like, "Sure," because, it would make my father very happy. He's brain dead and stupid. And then, of course, King Kong Bundy, he has comedic timing, Reflectionites. He said, I do a lot of charity work for the stupid. So, again, there's no filter here, TW.
That was a rib on wrestling fans.
It was what?
That was a rib on wrestling fans.
Why was that a rib?
Stupid.
Oh,
I do a lot of work for the stupid. It was saying people that watch wrestling are stupid.
Okay. I'll go with that. But
they make up for it. They make up for it.
Well, and Bud Bundy was so close to being a member of No Man. All Kelly had to do was hit the flash button and he would have got it. But Kelly had an epiphany herself. She said, "Well, since my brother is the backup wrestler and you don't have a match tonight, Mr. Bundy, my brother can come in and substitute." Kelly's happy. Michael Clark Duncan's happy. King Kong Bundy's happy. Anytime is happy. But there's one person that's not happy, TW. Who's that unhappy person?
The original Deadpool who fourth walls it and says, "Everyone, not me," or whatever he said. It's Bud Bumblebee.
Bud the Bumblebee. So again, this match is going to happen. It's going to be the Bumblebee versus King Kong Bundy at All In at the Dickadome. That's right. Was it All In? No, it was WrestlePalooza. See, I was just wondering if you was gonna, try to correct me.
This one was WrestlePalooza.
Okay, I'm just
Halloween edition.
The Halloween. Well, you got that right too. See, you remember certain things. I'm not here to correct you on everything. But anyway, before this match starts, Reflectionites, there is part 2. No Man wants to watch the match, wants to watch WrestlePalooza, the Halloween special, in the living room. But guess who was trying to thwart them again? The wives, because Old Man and Older Woman part 2 was playing on CBS.
Same movie. They replayed it because half the audience fell asleep, so they played it again, but earlier.
But there was more parts to it.
Another shot at CBS people.
But there was more parts added into the show, even for the older people who fell asleep on the show. But No Ma'ams put their foot down, and they got a chance to see WrestlePalooza in the living room. So now you got No Ma'am and their wives. So you know what? And the wives, when they're watching wrestling, TW, some of them get horny. Some of them.
First of all, they made fun of it. They called it for the depraved.
Mm-hmm.
And then he turned the channel, and then they all got hot and bothered. And Marcy even did like the standing fucking gimmick, but they didn't acknowledge it. She just did it and sat down.
Yeah, so I just want to put that part out there, Reflectionites, because again, I'm not trying to put everything into this show, but again, it's 30 minutes. I can remember a lot of shit. But anyway, we got to talk about the main event here, TW. The Bumblebee versus King Kong Bundy, TW. So you take it away with this 5-star classic that Tony Khan should book for this Wednesday at AEW Dynamite.
The most hilarious shit ever is Bud gets launched for the flight of the Bumblebee, hits the ropes, and then they rewind the tape for him to go back, but then put in the bee sting, and he hits Bundy with the bee sting, and then staggers around and falls on Bundy and almost gets the 3 count after Bundy promised to take it easy on him. And then Bundy grabs him in the corner and goes, "This is what I get for taking it easy on you." And then he goes, your manager, honey, said you're the kind of guy that like girls. I do. He goes, "Good. Then you're going to like being one." And then was basically wrenching on his dick like, what's that wrestler that got canceled?
Oh, Joey Ryan. And then Peg says to Al Bundy, "He's ripping off his stinger." And Al goes, "That's not his stinger." Blah, blah. But the funny joke earlier from the Friday night where they were supposed to be at bingo, this night they were supposed to be trick-or-treating. And Al said, "Yeah, they're going out as a bunch of large women and a chicken," because that's Marcy. But they said, "Al, are you related to King Kong Bundy?" And he goes, "No, but he definitely stole Peg's nickname because he was calling her King Kong Bundy." But then while they're watching it, they're all getting turned on. They're all hitting on their dudes. And the one old bitch tried changing the channel, and Peg said, "We're not turning it off when this awesomeness is on TV." So I liked that they took 2 shots at wrestling, but then the finish was everybody loves it in the end. That's what I like, because Bundy was definitely taking the shots saying, "I do a lot of work for the stupid," or he was calling promoter stupid, one or the other. And then when she called it for the depraved, and then Marcy was the first one to get on board, and then Peg. And then all the dudes had to look in their face like, "Oh no, I got to get laid." And that's what I mean. That's kind of the moment. Al even goes, "Can you grab my whatchamacallit?" And she's like, "Al, everyone's here," and grabs his dick. And he's like, "Not that, my actual whatchamacallit." But it's a good episode for sure. And you know what? The stunt man who played Bud Bundy and the Bumblebee, give him kudos. He took a clothesline and did a flip. He flipped. He did a 360.
I think that was Bud. And he was on cables.
No, that was Ricochet. That was definitely Ricochet. That was definitely Ricochet taking the flip. But TW, the piece de resistance. Talk about the finish of this match between the Bumblebee.
Bud's laying there with one leg pointing one way, one leg pointing another. And Kelly comes up and goes, "Hey, we should get that picture now." And he's like, "Where'd he go?" Because he's got a concussion. And then Bundy does the super splash. And it's so
and remember, it's the eclipse too. It's an eclipse because
and Kelly just got out of the way. And then he clearly lands on a dummy that goes flat. And he gets the 5 count. And then Kelly takes the picture, but it's only Bud's face and he's missing teeth.
It is so funny with that because, again, Bud Bundy and Al Bundy, almost the synchronicity, Reflectionites, because Bud Bundy loses, but also Al Bundy loses in a different way because he gets laid. He didn't want to get laid. He just wanted to watch the wrestling show. He just wanted to watch WrestlePalooza and see King Kong Bundy. So both Bundy men lost that night. It was just a great episode. And of course, the ending was Bud Bundy and Al Bundy in traction for different reasons. Bud Bundy is in literal traction because King Kong Bundy decimated him like he was Little Beaver. And Al Bundy got decimated because he had to, his whatchamacallit went into overtime. His whatchamacallit went into overtime with Peg Bundy for the whole. I was about to say it was about to be incest, but I'm trying to watch my words here. But he had a bad night with his wife. So, again, Reflectionites, there's nothing really left. It was
one missed opportunity, and I thought they were going to do it, and they never did it.
What was the missed opportunity?
I was waiting for them all to be like, "Ooh, look at Honey, she's hot," and then find out it was Kelly, and all of them be like, "Ooh, shit, up," and want to fight.
It is funny that Al couldn't know that was Bud, or his. Or, I mean, technically, Bud Bundy should be in No Man. He didn't. He not only got a picture with King Kong Bundy, he got in the ring with King Kong Bundy. And like you said, TW, with 1995, the Bundys couldn't afford. Well, at this particular moment, I guess they couldn't afford a VCR. They couldn't afford a VHS tape to record a special moment for No Man. And at the end of the day, No Man said, "We don't like wrestling anymore because our wives like it." And anything
because wrestling leads to wrestling at home, which leads to sex with our wives,
which made them stop watching wrestling. They didn't want to watch wrestling. So you know what, TW? Let's put a bow on this Married with Children episode. So talk about anything this episode or just your eclectic moments of Al Bundy.
I absolutely loved it. The only heat I had with it is I had to watch it on the Hulu with commercials, and I kept falling asleep. Not because it was boring.
How can you fall asleep on a 23-minute episode, man?
Because I fell asleep on the 1 and 20-second commercial that was like 7 commercials that were 10 seconds
Do you watch
long.
lying down like this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's your fault.
Dude, last week I paddleboarded on Monday, recorded the show on Tuesday, paddleboarded on Wednesday, went to Dan and Shay and Jake Owen on Thursday, went to SmackDown on Friday, went to SummerSlam on Saturday, went to the fucking Orioles versus Cleveland Indians on Sunday, and then drove home. And then yesterday I tried to relax, but I had therapy, I had other shit. Then I went to trivia last night. And then today I had to work at 7 in the morning. I had to be to work. So I was tired, man. I napped. I was home from work by 1:40, and I tried watching it right away. And it took me until about 3:30 to watch that shit. And then I napped until 4:30. Then I shaved and showered. And then I came down a little early. But Travis sent me a video of Jimmy Hart singing a bunch of old-ass 80s ring music on fucking piano. Mm-hmm. And it was like 7 or 8 minutes long. Or we could have done this 7 or 8 minutes earlier because I sat right here watching it. And then Travis goes, "It's gold." I go, "It's way too long. It's way, way too long." Have you seen it?
No, send it to me.
I'll send it to you.
And,
brutal.
And Reflectionites, everything that TW said, right? He needs an energy drink. And what better energy drink to have than Prime? Sponsored by Logan Paul.
I've had yet to have one of those. I'm gonna get one.
You was in Cleveland. They should have had Prime at the concession stand.
Fucker, I bought beer at the arenas.
See, that's why
I'm a grown ass man.
You're tired. That's why you drank beer. You're not supposed to drink things that bring you down. You're supposed to drink things that elevate you up. You need to drink some Prime.
Let me tell you a little secret. Mm-hmm. After SummerSlam, I walked to the Flats in Cleveland. They didn't even look recognizable. I used to run that place in the 90s. And I went to a bar called McCarthy's. And I sat at the end of the bar, and there's this young girl next to me. And I noticed everyone around there just handing shots to each other. Finally, she gets me a shot. I had this bracelet from her. She signed a thing of hand lotion for me, and I gave her a Nike shoe that I found on the sidewalk. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, they were all inviting me to go to the Peeler Bar, and I texted you and Ray from the strip club. And at the end of the night, they got up to leave, and the chick tried kissing me goodbye. And I'm like, what's going on? It's the second time in Cleveland where I went there, and some young chick wanted to make out with me. I don't know if she wanted to make out, but she was cool as hell. Her name was Maddie. So if you're listening, Maddie, and maybe you recognize me, and that's why you were working me. I don't know. But I got the bracelets.
Did she have the body like Anytime?
No, but I'd have hit it anytime. I would have just I'd have slid out of her DMs into her main page, told the world I heart her.
Well, you know what? Let's put a bow on this episode again.
They were all workers. They all worked there. She had got done with her shift and sat at the end of the bar, and I sat next to her.
Okay. Well, you know what? The strippers got to make a living too. So with that being said,
stripper? We went to the strip club after.
Oh, I thought she was Maddie was a stripper.
Waitress. No.
But she was a bar hop.
Hey, she asked me, "Do you want to go to the strip club with us?" I'm like, "Where's it at?" She was like, "Across the street." I'm like, "Let's go."
Oh, okay. So, again, there's nothing left. I'm going to put a ball on this. Married with children, you can't do it. You can't do it in 2020 Quattro. You can't do it in 2020 Cinco.
I think the closest thing to it is it's either called The Neighborhood or something, and it's got Max from The New Girl and Cedric the Entertainer, but Cedric's kind of like the Archie Bunker, and
I never really watched
jokes.
it. So.
I've never watched it either. They become friends. It's like Odd Couple type shit, but it's definitely Max is the nerdy white guy that wants to have a black friend, but he's the one who wants nothing to do with white people, but in a funny way, not in a hateful way. Like George Jefferson was hateful, but made it funny, right? But that show's kind of it, but it still has a gay, has a lesbian, has a he, she, has a they, whatever the fuck. It's still woke.
But the point is, TW,
you could not have this show.
You can't have this show. You can't have this subject. You can't even have these jokes. I mean, Al Bundy, again, Reflectionites, 8, 9, 10 hours a day is dealing with fat women's feet all day. And you can't say that because then you're
You're fat shaming.
You're fat shaming. You can't really talk about loose women like Nasty Natalie, the easiest girl in Chicago. You can't do that today because then you're slut shaming. You can't do, you can't mansplain to women certain things that go on because